Archaeologists in Britain just found something that has shocked the world. A second Great Wall of Hadrian. Yes, another massive Roman wall that no one ever knew existed. It was buried deep under the ground for nearly 2,000 years, completely forgotten. And the crazy part? It was found in a place where it shouldn't even exist. For a long time, people believed there was only one Hadrian's Wall. The famous stone line built by Emperor Hadrian to mark the edge of the Roman Empire in the north. It was meant to keep out the tribes beyond the frontier and show the power of Rome. But now, this new discovery near the old Roman fort of Magna is changing everything. Because what the archaeologists uncovered isn't a small ruin or an old outpost. It's a second massive wall, hidden just below the surface. And what makes it unbelievable is that no history book, no Roman record, and no ancient map ever mentioned it. So how could something this big disappear for 2,000 years? And why does it exist in a place where the Romans themselves would have never built? The discovery. It all started when a team of researchers began scanning the area using ground-penetrating radar, a technology that sends radio waves underground to detect hidden structures. They were expecting to find small buildings, maybe a few roads or ditches. But what showed up on their screens left them speechless. They saw straight, clean lines stretching for hundreds of meters. Lines that ran almost perfectly parallel to the known Hadrian's Wall. This wasn't random. It was the exact pattern of a man-made structure. A wall foundation. The deeper they scanned, the clearer it became. They were looking at the digital outline of an entire wall, buried and forgotten for centuries. At first, people thought it might just be a coincidence. Maybe some natural formations in the soil. But the radar signals told a different story. They revealed solid layers, stone foundations, and even drainage channels, all signs of Roman-style construction. To confirm it, archaeologists decided to dig. And once the shovels went in, there was no more doubt. They found blocks of stone, clay layers, and tightly packed cobbles, exactly how Roman engineers used to build their strong walls. This wasn't a fence or a small barrier. It was the start of something huge, a second Great Wall, built side by side with the one we already knew. But here's the real mystery. Why was this wall never recorded in Roman history? How could the most documented empire in the ancient world lose track of an entire megastructure? The impossible location. Now comes the part that really makes no sense. The Romans were the best engineers of their time. They built roads, aqueducts, and temples that still stand today. They were smart, logical, and precise. But this newly found wall, it breaks every rule they ever followed. The wall's foundations were discovered in swampy, unstable terrain, the kind of ground Roman builders always avoided. Soft clay and bogs can't support heavy stone. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on jelly. It would sink, crack, and fall apart in no time. And yet, somehow, they started building here. This goes completely against everything we know about how Rome operated. They were obsessed with perfection and stability. So why would they risk building something this huge in a place guaranteed to fail? This is what experts call an engineering paradox, a wall that shouldn't exist where it stands. The more the archaeologists studied it, the more confused they became. The wall's base was almost as wide as the real Hadrian's Wall, meaning it was meant to hold a huge amount of weight. That's not something you test on weak soil. So either someone made a huge mistake, or something much stranger happened. The mystery deepens. As they dug deeper, things got even weirder. Archaeologists started finding small objects buried inside the wall's remains, fragments of pottery, broken tools, and animal bones. But then, in one ditch, they found something that changed everything. A pile of Roman leather boots, dozens of them, all dumped together, still preserved in the mud. And here's what's strange. Roman soldiers never wasted boots. Leather was expensive, and they reused everything. Finding this many in one spot means one thing. Whatever happened here, it happened fast. It looked like a site that had been suddenly abandoned. And as the team kept digging, they realized the wall wasn't just left to rot. It was deliberately destroyed. The stones were smashed and buried under layers of rubble and clay. Even carved pieces of art, like Roman stone reliefs, were broken apart and used as filler. Someone wanted this wall gone. The deeper they went, the clearer it became. This wasn't a simple construction failure. This was a cover-up. The Romans didn't want anyone to know this wall ever existed. Finding this many in one spot means one thing. Whatever happened here, it happened fast. It looked like a site that had been suddenly abandoned. And as the team kept digging, they realized the wall wasn't just left to rot. It was deliberately destroyed. The stones were smashed and buried under layers of rubble and clay. Even carved pieces of art, like Roman stone reliefs, were broken apart and used as filler. Someone wanted this wall gone. The deeper they went, the clearer it became. This wasn't a simple construction failure. This was a cover-up. The Romans didn't want anyone to know this wall ever existed. The failed project. So what really happened here? Historians now believe this ghost wall might have been part of the original plan for Hadrian's frontier. When Emperor Hadrian ordered the wall's construction around 122 AD, it was probably meant to be even bigger. A double wall system for extra defense. The idea was ambitious, maybe too ambitious. Building such a huge structure required speed and manpower. The Roman legions might have rushed the work, ignoring their usual careful methods. That's when everything went wrong. The ground was too soft, the foundation too weak. The wall started to crack and sink even before it was finished. Imagine spending months building something massive, only to watch it crumble in front of your eyes. For an empire that prided itself on perfection, this was a disaster. And if there's one thing powerful empires hate, it's failure. So instead of admitting their mistake, the Romans decided to erase it. They tore the wall down, buried the evidence, and rewrote the story. They built a new, more stable wall, the Hadrian's Wall that still stands today. And this earlier version, this failed experiment, was erased from history. For nearly 2,000 years, no one even knew it was there. The big lesson. This discovery changes how we see Rome, not as a flawless machine, but as an empire run by humans who made big mistakes. The Romans weren't always wise and organized. Sometimes they got it wrong, badly wrong, but instead of learning from failure, they buried it. This ghost wall shows the darker side of history, how people in power can shape the story that gets remembered. The winners decide what's written down. The rest is buried, literally. It makes you think, if even the Romans could hide something this huge, what else from our past is still missing? How many other mistakes, experiments, or disasters have been erased before we ever had the chance to learn from them? This wall is proof that our history books only tell the parts that survived, not necessarily the full truth. Why it matters today. What makes this story even more powerful is how it connects to us today. Think about it. The Romans built something on ground that couldn't hold it. They ignored logic and pushed forward anyway. And when it failed, they buried it instead of fixing it. Don't we still see the same thing today? Governments, corporations, even people. We build big things on weak foundations, rush projects without proper planning, and when they fail, we cover them up instead of owning the mistake. The Roman Ghost Wall isn't just a ruin, it's a warning. It reminds us that progress without patience is a fast road to collapse, and that the truth always finds a way to resurface, even if it takes 2,000 years. So here's what we know. A massive Roman wall, built on impossible ground, abandoned in panic, and buried to hide its failure. A forgotten frontier, lost to time, rediscovered only now. This one discovery doesn't just add a footnote to Roman history, it rewrites it. It shows that the Roman frontier wasn't a single clean line. It was a messy, experimental, and sometimes disastrous project. For centuries, we thought Hadrian's Wall was a symbol of control. Now we know it also hides a story of failure, ambition, and denial. The Earth is full of secrets like this, stories waiting for the right moment to wake up. So, what else is still buried beneath our feet? What other truths are waiting for us to find them? If this story blew your mind, hit that like button, share it, and subscribe for more stories that history almost erased. Because the past isn't gone, it's just hiding. And little by little, we're bringing it back to light.